don't even know where to start today. I'm a little bit hot about this because I've heard of a few people recently that I know who are struggling with money, who have lost cars, had phones shut off, been at risk of kicking out of their apartments, and when they were asked why they didn't make the payments, they thought they did. This is something that I've seen all too often. For years and years and years, a couple of decades actually, I've been involved in consumer finance, whether it is real estate finance or alternative real estate finance, credit monitoring, things like that. I've seen a lot of people who frankly terrify me. They get to where they're 55, 65 years old, they have zero money for savings, or they are making plenty of money to cover their bills, and for whatever reason, they don't. They just spend money on all sorts of different things, except savings and except themselves planning for the future. Now, if you've watched this channel at all, you know that I am big on savings, I'm big on planning for retirement, on keeping your credit clean, on bettering yourself and putting yourself in the best financial position possible. It's impossible to do that if you do not know where your money's going, if you don't have a budget. More on that in a little bit. First thing I wanted to do is hop into some things where people are currently spending money. Now, this is a chart from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, BLS.gov. This is the 2021 to 2023 spending, where people spend money for consumer units. And you can see here it says average income and expenditure for consumer units. What is a consumer unit? Well, if you do a quick Google search, the BLS talks about that being a unit of observation used to gather data on household spending, and it includes all members of a particular household. So basically everyone living together, or a person living alone or sharing a household with others, and a private home. So basically everyone in some sort of a unit that is living together, these are their average expenditures. What is amazing to me is there's a lot of people that are struggling, but there's generally what we find, there is some discretionary income that can be utilized or earned, if it's separate, to better themselves. There are always situations where they can't, where people are stuck, where they're in a bad situation. Those are the minority though. And for people that are in that situation, I feel for them. I hope that they are able to get themselves into a better situation. For the rest of us, though, we need to take responsibility for where we're at. Now, a couple of things. The first one we see is the average income before tax. They're saying in 2023 was $101,000. Most incomes in the United States are currently dual income or three income or four income, depending on how many people you have living together. Multi-generational living is going to skew that, as well as high income areas versus low income areas. New York, Los Angeles, California, Seattle, Washington are all generally going to skew higher, as well as some other major metropolitan markets. If you're in Omaha, Nebraska, or Des Moines, Iowa, or Paris, Idaho, your income will probably not be the same, but percentage-wise, this is still where people are spending their money. Food at home, obviously we have to eat. Housing, obviously we have to live somewhere. Transportation, we have to get to and from our jobs. Food away from home, though, that's where we start having a choice. We can bring a lunch instead of buying a lunch, or we can eat in for a date night if we're married or dating or whatever it is, instead of eating out at a fancy restaurant. The average spending per year on food away from home is $3,933. If we bring up a calculator and figure out what that is per month, that is $327 per month that people are spending on average on food. Of course, that number will vary. Even if it's half of this, that's money that could be going into an investment or saving or building a side gig or something that you're able to generate additional income from, and then better yourself. Be able to create additional income that then you can spend on other investments and dig ourselves out of. If we're in a bad situation, we can dig ourselves out of that bad situation. If we're in a stable situation but not progressing, we can start investing for a future. People have asked, how do you get rich? Generally speaking, it's very slowly and it's very boring. It's done over time with investments, but you have to start young. You have to start right away, as soon as you can, to be able to have that amount to spend when you get older, to save for retirement. Let's hop into some other things. Alcoholic beverages. Whether you drink or not is up to you, but $637 a year, that's what, $50+ per month on an alcoholic beverage. That's fine if the money is there and if you are in a good financial position, but if you're not, that may be better served putting it into something else. Entertainment. This talks about fees and admissions, pet toys, hobbies, playground equipment, other entertainment supplies, $3,600 per year. $3,600 per year is over $300 per month spent on entertainment. This doesn't mean that we don't want or we shouldn't be looking for entertainment, but if we're spending $300 per month, could that money be going to something better? Could it be paying off debt? Could it be building a savings account? Savings is something that gives you the freedom then to choose what you do with your life. If you lose your job, you're able to pay your bills for a couple of months. Even if your savings is only $1,000, that gives you the flexibility to make decisions without being desperate for money because you have a cushion. A little bit further, tobacco products, smoking supplies, I don't think anyone can argue that that's a bad idea. Obviously, it's hard to quit, but if you can, that's an extra $370 average per year. I'm going to throw this out there because this is average for all spending. The people that are using tobacco products and smoking supplies are probably much, much higher than this on a monthly basis because this also includes everyone who does not. So these are just some of the items that we're seeing where people are spending money where they could be allocating it to something else. Now, to be able to understand where your money's going, you need a budget. If you've watched this channel at all, you know I'm big on budgeting, big on knowing where your money goes. The way my wife explains it to others is giving every dollar a job, making sure that you know where every dollar needs to go, and then allocating that money to those resources, and what's left over is allocated towards savings, building your life for the future. It's fine to have entertainment when you're younger. The problem is if everything goes to entertainment when you're younger, you won't have any money for entertainment when you're older, and it does come up quicker than you think. So my personal preference on budgeting apps is Excel. Excel's easy. It allows you to build a line item for every single item that you have. You're not locked into different items that an app maker may say, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone knows how to build the formulas. Not everyone wants to learn, which is fine. So I hopped into this article by Roberger.com. I'm probably slaughtering the pronunciation on that. And this is 10 best Mint alternatives. Mint is a financial app. These are different ones that this guru had looked at and he liked them. So I'm going to run through them real quick. I have no personal experience with most of these, but this gives you an idea of some options that you're able to do. Monarch Money is one that you can use. He says he's used it for a few different things. I've never heard of it, don't have a lot of experience with it. He gives some pros and cons. And the next one is Origin. He gives this as the most comprehensive app. He likes it a lot, gives a few different things about it. It tracks your investments, which is great because you can, a lot of times people nowadays have multiple investments. They may have money in Robinhood. They may have money in Invest with Mint is another app where you're able to invest in fractional real estate. They may have money in crypto. And if this allows you to track all of them, that's pretty darn cool, as well as you may have multiple bank accounts for different things. And then that'll allow you to do it. It also allows you to create a will, create a trust, talk to a certified financial planner, some very cool things that you're able to do. The next one is Empower. I've heard of Empower, don't have a lot of experience with it. A lot of financial people that are financial gurus like to talk about it. And as I understand it, it gives you the ability to track different financial investments, gives you cool graphs and details. So again, something that you're able to try. Rocket Money, most people have probably heard of the Rocket companies, whether it's Rocket Mortgage or Rocket Money itself. This gives you the ability to do the same type of things. It has a premium version for as little as $6 a month. Now that's a misnomer in my opinion because it's an annual pay. So yeah, it's $6 a month, but you have to pay for the whole year in advance. But again, a very cool, different type of app. The paid functionality means you're going to probably get some additional features. Yes, there's a cost associated with it, but if it's able to help you track your money and get on top of it, $6 a month is going to be much cheaper than 2 bounced checks or 2 NSFs that you get from trying to buy something on a debit card and not having the money. Simplify is another one. It's from Quicken. It's a mobile budgeting app it talks about, and then it has essentially the same type of features where you can see all of your banking, credit card, loans, investments in one place, etc., etc. Tiller Money is the next one that he gives, and he talks about this being that for those who love spreadsheets. That's something I should probably check out and see if I like it. Allows you to track all your accounts in one place, make a budget, track spending, track your net worth. That's kind of cool. You can see your net worth growing incrementally. A quick note on your net worth growing. It will grow very, 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 very slow at first, but as you start to accumulate more money, it's kind of cool once you see your net worth get to that 100,000 mark and then start to accelerate more as your compound interest or as your interest compounds and helps grow your wealth for you without you having to do anything. Quicken, most people have heard of Quicken. It's another financial app. I've actually seen it back in the 1990s as PCs became more and more popular and prevalent. People were starting to put this type of stuff on computers. Quicken's been around for a long time. I'm not personally a fan just because it doesn't always seem to have the best UI, user interface. But it is a very well-known name. Countabout is something that I don't know anything about, but it does make his list. It talks about being able to import data from Quicken and Mint, which can be very cool. Automate transaction downloads. That is very nice when you're able to go into your bank account if it'll let you download that information. If it has that functionality, if that's what that's talking about, that is cool. And fully customizable income invoicing for small businesses. That again is a great tool. And it looks like they do have different plans, $9.99 a month or $9.99 a year for a basic plan, and then automatic downloading is $39.99 a year. That is much cheaper than some of the other ones that he listed. YNAB, or You Need a Budget, is one that I am somewhat familiar with. I know several people who use it and really like it. It does have a monthly fee. For students, however, usually they'll give them a limited time free, so you're able to get in and get all those tools, get hooked on their software, and then you'll hopefully continue to use it. But it is something that gives people a great way to just see their budget. Very simple. It doesn't include necessarily all of the other pieces, but it allows you to do that, give every dollar a job, so you can see where your money is going. Pocketsmith is something that, again, I do not have any experience with, but it does talk about it being able to manage multiple income streams, forecast your cash flow, track Airbnb earnings. That's kind of cool. Create and track savings goals, integrates with Xero and multiple currencies. So if you happen to travel a lot overseas, that may be something that you want to look at. These are just different options that I found as a recommendation from a financial guru, some that I don't have anything to do with. So again, coming back to the full circle, having a budget, watching your money, knowing where your money is going is critical to being able to gain any sort of financial accumulation, any sort of wealth at all. You have got to track those details. You have to sacrifice. We all have to sacrifice for certain things. And I know there's a lot of jokes around social media where if people would just stop having that one latte a day, it would make you rich. And that's not the case until you're able to track your money, invest consistently, know where the money is going, and over time, build your personal wealth. I hope this is helpful to you and not too hard or not too heavy. I know this started out a little bit heavy, but it is extremely frustrating when you see people who have the ability to better their lives, to put themselves in a strong financial position, and they don't do it. Make sure you take control of your financial life. Hope this is helpful. If it is, please give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone who would benefit from this video, please do share. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.